These words were very impactful in the context in which they were spoken, shifting focus away from who was truly demonstrating their new transformation. What did Vegeta see in him that we didn't? He's not suited to be a candidate for God of Destruction. He doesn't have that in him. These were words spoken almost simultaneously, interfering in a very strange way with Gohan's beast form. What did Beerus also want to say subtly beyond what was already clear? That Gohan's heart is pure, and he couldn't wield destruction energy. With that said, we ask ourselves, where does Gohan's power come from? What is its real origin? We can rule out destruction, so only a few options remain, and today we're going to talk more about them. And through Beerus' own words, we'll search for the origin of Gohan's hidden power. Speaking of power, you guys will be able, or can, help us by subscribing, liking, and turning on notifications, and let's dive together into another insane journey through the Dragon Ball universe. Let's get into the video. Gohan has always been a warrior with hidden power, which he accessed in moments when he needed it the most, but always with a limiter. After all, his body wasn't trained to handle so much power. This limiter always exceeded his limits, as if he was trying to protect himself. When I say he, I mean his mind, automatically. And everyone always wonders about the real origin of his power, especially now being compared to a beast, the name of his current and strongest transformation. It closely resembles Super Saiyan 2, but is a bit different, as if it leans more toward an evil side or a more savage transformation, hence the name. But Beerus makes it clear that he's not destructive. That's fine, but there's a caveat. How can he not be destructive if he himself is half Saiyan? And as everyone knows, Saiyans are destroyers. This is where the biggest secret comes in. Gohan is literally a Saiyan, both fully in some terms and not at the same time. But think with me, you know what Oozaru is, don't you? Oozaru is a transformation of Saiyans in the Dragon Ball universe. When a Saiyan with a tail looks at the full moon, they transform into a giant ape called Oozaru, which means giant ape in Japanese. This transformation significantly increases the Saiyans' strength and power, but can also make them more savage and harder to control. That's the secret. It's always been in front of us that Oozaru was trying to dominate young Gohan from the start. Just thinking about the full moon, we see something in common. Look at that. Gohan Beast is a powerful transformation that Gohan achieves in the movie Dragon Ball Superhero. This form is an evolution of Gohan's ultimate state, awakened by his intense rage during the battle against Cell Max. Again, rage. But hold on, let's now examine the essential part, which is his appearance. Gohan Beast has light gray hair, similar to Goku's Ultra Instinct, but with a longer and wilder style. His eyes turn red with black pupils, and here's what I wanted to get to, red eyes, just like the full moon. A red full moon is known as a blood moon. This phenomenon occurs during a total lunar eclipse when the Earth is between the sun and the moon, blocking the direct sunlight that normally illuminates the moon. During a total lunar eclipse, sunlight passes through the Earth's atmosphere before reaching the moon. Earth's atmosphere scatters blue and green light, allowing only red and orange light to reach the moon, giving it a reddish appearance. This phenomenon is known as Rayleigh scattering. Throughout history, the blood moon has been associated with various myths and prophecies, often seen as omens of important or catastrophic events. So it's coming true, drawing a parallel to the current events in Dragon Ball Super, where Gohan carries the red eyes of the blood moon, and his aura is a mix of blue-white with magenta lightning. This transformation represents Gohan's latent potential finally being unleashed, making him one of the most powerful characters in the Dragon Ball universe. Everything comes together, the prophecy of the warrior, spoken by the Oracle Fish, Oozaru trying to take control of Gohan. And here comes the question. Who was the first Oozaru? The question remains whether it could be something sealed in the first generation of Saiyans because, look at this. The Saiyans of Universe 6, introduced in Dragon Ball Super, are different from the Saiyans of Universe 7 in several ways. A notable difference is that the Saiyans of Universe 6 do not have tails. As a result, they cannot transform into Oozaru, the giant ape form that the Saiyans of Universe 7 can achieve by looking at the full moon. So, based on this, why is there such a glaring difference? Could these genes have been implanted in the Saiyans, Or was some curse placed on some of their ancestors? Or perhaps Oozaru had a race. Maybe the Saiyans had children with this race, and the descendants of both triggered this transformation over the years. And if Oozaru really was a sentient being, the first could be giving power to Gohan, causing him to lose control. We see a parallel to this in the anime Naruto. Kurama, the nine-tailed fox, initially tried to dominate Naruto by granting him power. At first, Kurama was a malevolent presence within Naruto, trying to manipulate his emotions and awaken his rage to take control, just like Gohan, accessing power through rage. In the beginning, Naruto used Kurama's chakra instinctively, especially in moments of great danger or anger, but this often resulted in a loss of control, just like Gohan. The limiter was constantly broken, but since he was still a child, he lost his memory, as if it truly wasn't him anymore, although it seemed like it was. During his training with Jiraiya, Naruto began to learn to access Kurama's power in a more controlled way, although there were still risks of losing control. Eventually, Naruto managed to gain Kurama's trust, and the two began to cooperate, allowing Naruto to use the power of the Nine Tails more effectively and safely. Could it be that this being is really trying to dominate Gohan or protect him from death? And why is it that only the Saiyan elite has enough knowledge to tame the Oozaru beast and use it as they wish in its giant ape form? Who passed on this knowledge? So, Gohan could either succumb to Oozaru's power or learn to control it. Who better than Vegeta to teach him that? Or perhaps he will discover it himself, the origin of his power, which comes from Oozaru, a deity, a monster, or merely a freak of nature. All we know is still vague, but if we truly stop to think about this dilemma, we will be sure that there is much more than we can even imagine. What did you think of this theory? About Oozaru being the bearer of Gohan's true latent power, and perhaps it was never evil, but rather misused by some. Maybe some Saiyan went astray and used it however they saw fit, making it clear that only some chosen warriors would have lucid access to such power. Let's go back a little to Gohan's past and see all the times he accessed Oozaru's power, both with and without the giant ape form, and how this ensured his survival. During the fight against Raditz, Gohan, still a child, was furious when he saw his father, Goku, being tortured. His rage unleashed an explosion of power that surprised Raditz and caused significant damage. Raditz couldn't understand how that was possible. Later, during the battle against Nappa, Gohan accessed his hidden power again when he saw Piccolo sacrifice himself to save him. His anger resulted in a powerful attack on Nappa. It was against Frieza that Gohan showed his hidden power multiple times, especially when he saw his friends in danger. His rage and despair allowed him to briefly fight Frieza at power levels far beyond his own, though this time, he didn't lose control completely. The most iconic moment was during the battle against Cell. Gohan accessed his hidden power and transformed into Super Saiyan 2 after Android 16's death and his friend's suffering. This transformation was a turning point in the battle. At this point, during his training with Goku, he already realized something, that his hidden power would save him no matter what. This was indeed the greater power from the Saiyans, because every time he accessed his hidden power, he was consumed by Saiyan pride and started to toy with his opponent, as if someone else was enjoying themselves through Gohan's eyes, someone who took pleasure in seeing others suffer. It truly wasn't the Gohan we knew, because when he snapped out of it, he returned to normal, yet still retained his power. His mind and body synchronized, and he remembered the power he accessed, just like with Mystic Gohan. There were also the first times Gohan transformed into Oozaru during his training with Piccolo, when he saw the full moon. Piccolo had to destroy the moon to prevent Gohan from causing more destruction. In the battle against Vegeta, Gohan transformed into Oozaru again. Vegeta had created an artificial moon to transform, and Gohan ended up looking at it, triggering his transformation. This form was crucial in defeating Vegeta, as Gohan managed to crush him before losing his tail. These moments show how Gohan, even when young, had incredible potential that manifested in situations of extreme stress or anger. His transformation into Oozaru was also an important element in his early battles. There's the answer. What did you think of all this? Leave your comments and feedback. I appreciate you being here, and until next time.